I would like, if I may, to lead the AfterBuzz after show for Rocky Horror Picture Show. Let's do the time warp again. Stick around.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello and welcome to the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Let's do the time warp again after show here on AfterBuzz TV. If you have not already, go to youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV. Hit subscribe. We're also on iTunes and SoundCloud. I'm your host, Yael Tygiel. I'm joined by a lovely, lovely panel who is all dressed up. I am clearly your criminologist. Bree?
Hi, everybody. My name is Briana Phipps. You can find me bphipps14 on Twitter and Instagram.
Hey guys, it's Jay Ellis, and I'm on Instagram at don't_be_jealous, and then Twitter at still_jealous.
And hi everyone, I'm Amanda Richards. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at AmandaAfter31.
Awesome. We have a Janet.
I'm Janet.
A Rocky.
Janet Part A.
Yeah.
And I'm distracted. I can't think of who you are.
I'm Columbia.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Let's see you tap dance later.
Hey, I do have tap shoes.
Awesome. Before we jump into the breaking down of Rocky Horror Picture Show, Let's Do the Time Warp Again. That's the full title of the non-live Fox show. I want to clarify going forward, because I know we're going to slip up, that the character of Frank-N-Furter traditionally is a male, and Laverne Cox is playing a female Frank-N-Furter, and therefore we will probably slip up a lot and say he versus she, and I just want to clarify that we are fully aware
that she is a she.
Yeah, that she is a she. I just felt like that needed to be.
And we're just all fans of the film version as well,
Yes.
so we just have that maybe ingrained in our brain.
Right.
Yeah, it's very difficult. Overall thoughts on the performance tonight? I'm going to start with Briana.
I thought all the singers were very, very good. I liked the singing a lot. The costuming was great.
Oh yeah, costumes.
Especially Laverne Cox. I want like 90% of that, except for the first one. But
The first one, like in
the big
First
sun
costume.
head thing.
Oh, I thought you meant the first one, like in the cemetery.
Oh,
So
sorry, the second one. Yeah. Also, I don't want the. It reminded me too much of Flintstones, the little doctor outfit.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I could see that. I agree. I think that the musical numbers were great. I liked that they maybe changed some of the arrangements so that way, I mean, we are getting kind of something fresh for the show. The costumes had me, and even the sets looked great. I thought that they kind of stayed true, and they added a little bit something to kind of, you could tell that they were moving the cameras in different ways. So I thought that they approached that in a unique and different way.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, those fishnet stockings were my absolute favorite. Like, where can I get a pair? I love them.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll be on sale very, very soon.
I mean, Halloween costume tomorrow. That's what I'm buying. But I also just thought the talent was exquisite. I think the casting was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I definitely saw a different cast, something we're not used to. Almost everyone I went, oh, that's an interesting take for it. I think Eddie, they played it very Eddie. It was very clearly an Eddie. But that said, our beloved Adam Lambert was amazing.
I mean, his voice is just like, he has an amazing, amazing, amazing voice. Like, he played Fiyero in Wicked on Broadway, or not on Broadway in LA, but like, he comes from that background where he can just do anything.
And doesn't he sing Queen also on tour?
Yes.
Like, he's the new Queen. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Freddie Mercury, yeah.
That's what's great, though, is that we're so used to. I feel like he does a lot of glam pop.
Yeah.
And this show had numbers that felt very glam pop, but his performance was very Meatloaf Eddie. Out of all them, it was so interesting that he, who is so different from Meatloaf, was very much I'm paying homage to Meatloaf.
Yeah.
But he also, like, that role you get to have so much fun with because you only have that one scene to really show your stuff. So he just got to, like, let loose, I feel, and, like, it was great.
And I think they were smart to put him in because he's a notable name without having too much notoriety or anything going for him. Like, he's able to take this role and people are able to see him mold himself into a character where we're not used to seeing him as a certain character. Like, we knew it's Adam Lambert, but he took on that, what Meatloaf made and kind of made it his own and had that glam rock feel to it.
Yeah.
So it was him, but it was still, like, the character Eddie as well.
He showed how talented he actually is, that he can create a character and kind of not just be one thing, which was great.
Well, let's start at the top. Let's start with our double feature. So I'm used to seeing the lips.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to watch it and go, no, are we just going to zoom in on our lips? Can we just zoom in?
But they did at the end, which I'm glad they did, to pay that homage to the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, for those who may have gone to the midnight showings, I don't know about the way they do them where you come from, but where I come from, you have the lips on the screen and kind of a burlesque-y striptease.
Yeah.
So
did you see it in Castro?
No, I saw it not
I
in
saw it in
Castro.
Castro. Sorry,
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
Magenta in the booth over here.
Thank you.
AKA Alexis.
Alexis.
Torres.
You do have the hair for it, Alexa.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah, I saw it in the Castro, and I missed seeing the lips that came up with a sexy lady running around. Usually, I had a man last time, which I thought was fun.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Well, so we had Ivy Levan.
I loved her.
She's gorgeous.
Yeah.
She's amazing. I'll just say this might sound creepy, but like because we see her in the usher costume with the little bra underneath, I expected a strip and a dance.
Oh.
Because I sound so ridiculous. That's what I'm used to, and I expected her to take that top off.
If they were
And,
going
like,
to do it, this would have been
yeah.
the movie to do it for.
Right.
Yeah.
But that said, I like the idea of us seeing the movie posters and getting the references, which I think maybe people don't know that that's
Yeah.
what those are. And that the castle is the movie theater, and then when we get into it, the movie theater is the castle. It's an interesting way to do it. What did you guys think?
To kind of combine that like theater feel as well as the film. I liked it. Sometimes I kind of wanted more of one or the other, but I really do like that they tried to make both of those happen. For people that have seen the theater show maybe, or people that have only seen the film, they can kind of like it no matter what.
Yeah.
What about you, Amanda?
Yeah, Rocky Horror has become such a cult following and such an experience. Everyone who, when you go and see Rocky Horror, I mean, I'll never forget the first time I saw Rocky Horror live. Like, it blew my mind just how risque and out there and how everyone was just so comfortable in their own skin. And it changes you the first time you see it. So I think that they did a good job trying to show what kind of experience it is, that people love it so much that they almost become a part of the movie when they watch it. They yell those things, they do all those things. So I understand where they were going with it, but you know, I don't know if it was exactly the choice I would have chosen.
Yeah.
But I love what they were doing, and I love the concept for sure.
I had mixed emotions about it. I liked how they introduced it and said, like, this is kind of the experience that you might get if you were to go to a live anything. And I found the cuts throughout the film kind of distracting, even though like they paid they gave us a nod as to like what would be going on in a theater.
Yeah.
I found it took me a little bit out of it because at this point I was watching the film version, which you're not hearing like the commentary.
Yeah.
So I you had to have it one way or the other. So I found it a nice introduction, but I think they should have left it after that. They should have just dropped it.
I agree. I definitely agree. I think that having some audience participation, but not all the audience participation, is really distracting.
Yeah.
Also, it makes you want the parts that they didn't do with audience participation.
Exactly.
Like I wanted them to throw toast at the screen.
Right. I
Yeah.
want
Oh
to
man,
hear.
I missed that.
Yeah.
I want to hear the jokes because as I'm watching the movie that they're showing us, in my head I'm shouting
Yep.
the things that are supposed to be shouted, and I'm like, why is no one saying it? But then we see them with the lighters. I would have liked either all or nothing, and I like the idea of us seeing them sit down for the movie and then not seeing them again. I really like that.
Yeah, that would have been a cool way to do it, to give you that feel of like we're watching it live, but it's not live.
Right.
It made you want to watch it live, which was probably not a good thing.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I just want it to be live right now.
Yeah, and we have to remember that some people don't have the experience. Like this might be, you know, a 14-year-old's first time watching a Rocky Horror anything and not knowing what the basis is. So maybe those cuts would have either been confusing or they would have been like, well, what's going on here? What's the connection? So maybe
Yeah.
they'll look into it and then they'll like find this experience when they're 18. You know?
Yeah.
We're 18. I just tweeted a picture from my very first time going to the live show at age 14. I found
Okay.
it on their website.
14?
I was 14 the
circled
first time.
I was
myself.
17.
See, I said 14 because I was 14, but I thought kind of the general. I watched this movie when my cousin showed it to me when I was way too young,
Yeah.
and it's kind of I think made my freak flag fly.
To be fair,
Yeah.
Yael and I don't know about you guys, Yael and I are both from Bay Area, so
Yeah.
it's much like different.
Yeah, it's a little bit.
You grew up
more
with it
different.
almost.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
My first time, it was my friend who's a year older than me. She was a freshman in college, and I was a senior in high school. And she played Janet. And I was so excited to like go see my friend in a play. And then she starts like making out with people in the audience, and I was like, "What is going on? Like, what happened to my friend?"
About that.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Janet, let's talk about "Damn It, Janet," the beloved song.
I love it.
Yeah, Jay Ellis.
I do.
Jay,
I really
it's your
love
favorite
it.
song.
Not my favorite. I just get like I love the vibe, and I think it's like a strong start in the show. Like I think it's just a strong, like you kind of get the character of Brad and Janet.
Yeah.
I think it establishes them really great.
It also just, I love when they, at least in the movie, and I don't think they did it here as much, they still had the characters in the background a little bit,
Yeah.
but they're the ones being like, oh, Brad.
Yeah, for those who somehow don't know or didn't notice, because later they circle it and show it to you, Riff Raff and Magenta are at the church, and so is Frank in the covered from head to toe in black, except for those legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, and you go,
You cannot
yeah,
stop the legs.
Those are Laverne Cox's beautiful legs. I don't know, that number, I prefer the number the way it's sung at Rocky Horror.
Yeah.
When you go to the show, not the way it's sung in the movie. I have a lot of songs like that where I think I prefer.
The one thing I wanted, maybe it's just like my OCD and stuff, like the sentence isn't finished, but on the car when it was all like,
yes.
she got hers, now he's doing, or something, is that what it said? And I wanted just to say he's doing her. I just wanted the her on the end.
She said I do.
She said I do, now he's doing, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my overall vibe is I think that they had strong vocals, but there was a missing, like, rawness that I get from the movie versions of these songs, and I felt like it was very popped or produced for this show, which, I think they're kind of playing to this audience, but, yeah, you're right, damn it, Janet, I like, you know, the original and it's just because it's in my heart for, 20-something years, so it's hard to hear, like, a remix or a different arrangement of it, but it was fine, it was good.
You know, I expected, surprise appearances. Since it wasn't live, I expected surprise appearances from the original cast, and I feel like that church scene would have been the perfect time
To have them
to
even
have
be
Susan
carrying a
Sarandon
coffin.
and Barry Bostwick. Like, that would have been so great to see them.
I would have loved that.
Yeah.
Even if they were just goers to the wedding.
Yeah, I would have expected them just to be like the grandparents or, whoever. When they were like,
would've been
Grandma and
great.
Grandpa, get in.
Not to get off topic, was the same thing I had in Saving Mr. Banks. I just wanted Julie Andrews and Dick Van Dyke to be somewhere in the background.
Well, next we see our criminologist, played by the amazing Tim Curry.
Can't talk about this.
I know.
This was, so for those who somehow don't know, Tim Curry originated Frank-N-Furter in the movie, and this was really hard to see.
I mean, he recently, for people who didn't know, he recently went through a stroke, and he's paralyzed in part of his body. It was just really tough.
And having a criminologist assistant who does the time warp for him and, like, opens the book for him was really tough.
Yeah. Do you think, is there another, I mean, I appreciate that he came in and, like, supported this. Like, I love that he did it. Is there another way that they could have done it without the assistant? Like, there was no...
I don't think they needed to do this stuff. I mean, if he hadn't done the time warp, like, most people that know that would have gotten why he didn't.
Yeah.
I don't think he had to have an assistant. I think that just kind of rubbed it in our
the
faces.
book could have opened on its own.
Yeah, because they
you
also
go.
didn't...
That wouldn't have been weird for the show.
It wasn't like he stood up and had his cigarette in hand and pointed at the steps on the chart, which is, in the original. She was on the desk jumping instead of him,
Right.
which was unnecessary.
Yeah.
But I really liked seeing him because he was from the original cast, and that was really nice.
And he was amazing in the original.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was his film debut, is that right? That
I don't know if it was the exact first thing he did. You have,
I could
I
look
am
It was
that
his
up.
breakout,
I would love
for
to.
sure.
Look it up if you
but
want.
I do
Please,
know
thank
that
you.
it did blacklist him for a very, very long time. He couldn't get hired.
Yeah, very. I mean, of that time, you can see kind of the subjects and
Yeah,
what
you
was
get
going
to-
on, and it's just, it seems bonkers, and that's another thing for this. Is, I mean, as we go forward, you can tell that they kind of edited it down because it's, it's watered down Rocky Horror.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
So then we get to There's a Light, which gives us our introduction to Riff Raff, who is a glam rocker, like the glammiest glam rock. I've never, I think, been able to, like, identify glam rock until that moment. And I went, I got it.
There
I
he
now
is.
understand it.
I don't mean to interrupt.
Yes.
But I looked it up. He was in television series from 1968 to 1974, but his first movie he ever did was Rocky Horror Picture
Wow.
Thank
Nice.
you, Alexis.
Thank you, Alexis. Yeah.
In the booth with the assist.
Magenta.
Show. I tried.
Magenta.
Magenta updates will be happening.
Yeah, what did you all think of Riff Raff and There's a Light?
I think talking wise, and even that kind of sing-song talk wise, he kind of fully embodied the character from the movie. Almost like the way he talked, the very like tone he used. It was very, very much the movie to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could tell that he was, when I watched him, I was like, you are a brilliant actor. More than a performer, a singer. I mean, I don't know if he is, but I was like, he is an amazing actor that really understands the character.
Yeah.
So
This number was kind of the first set that I saw, like, oh, I see why it maybe wouldn't have been practical for them to do it live, because how are they going to do like a water scene and then go into a mansion? I don't like just how if it would read right.
Yeah.
But as far as Riff Raff, I liked him. I liked his introduction. He had kind of a weird look at first, and I was like, oh, like I kind of had like a pullback for a second, but then I think all the characters grew on me as we went into like the second and third act.
Yeah.
Especially the third act.
Third act, I liked it a lot, and yeah, but the introductions, I think I had to get that mental block out of my head.
That's so funny because I feel like when you see the movie, usually you're like, because the energy of the first act is so up that by the second and third act you're like, why is this movie so long?
Yeah.
But here they flipped it,
Yeah.
where you're like, it's great and it's up, but like I'm still resisting it.
Yeah.
And then by the third act you're like, yes, this
Well, I
is
think
great.
anytime you watch something when you're a big fan of like an original, whether it be theater or film, like you're always kind of judging it in that first
course.
act so much, so you can't even allow yourself 100% to be a part of it. Yeah.
And this show especially is so, I mean, it's a really big undertaking to do something
Yeah.
like this. Like, I give them props for attempting, because it would, I wouldn't even know where to begin.
Yeah.
I want to ask you all this because I wasn't sure about it. So I like that they used Castle as the movie theater, and they like played on this idea that the movie theater is called Castle. I didn't understand why there was a movie theater in the castle.
Yeah, that part. Okay, when it was just in the background, like I was like weirded out, but I was like whatever. And
Yeah.
then when he was inside the refreshment bin,
Yeah, like,
and then at the
everything was-
very, very end when they come out and it has the marquee, like that was weird to me. I was like, why is there a marquee on the front of your house, and why didn't anyone think this was weird when they walked into it?
Well, when they walked in, we walked by the marquee also.
Yeah.
I know, but like it was so
didn't-
dark
it
that it
didn't
wasn't
bother
as
you.
prevalent, so it didn't bother me as much.
Yeah, I just because like the different objects that they have, right? Rocky comes out of the refreshments. It was a little odd. It was an odd choice.
It was noticeable. I think
Yes.
that's like you're just like you're looking at it and you're like, I'm noticing that you're in a theater or something. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
It just
Or they're
took
trying
you.
too hard to make you realize we're doing a theater
Yes.
and a movie.
Yeah.
That's a better way to say it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the concept, to pick
All
it
right.
in a theater, yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
there was
was
no, There was
intentional.
no reason.
As far as we know, yeah.
All right, so we get to the time warp, the most famous number from the entire show, and it is a country version at first.
Yeah.
It like starts country and then evolves
Like
into
country
the time.
pop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did that throw anyone else off?
Yes.
Yes.
But that's just because I'm so used to the original tempo that it kind of felt slow. I don't know. It just, something about it, I was like, I wanted to sing along and I felt like I couldn't quite sing along.
Until it sped up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Until
I
we
actually
got-
was refreshed by it. I was just so excited to hear the song. It didn't bother me.
Okay.
For whatever reason. I was like, it's fine.
Yeah.
I didn't hear the country as much as you guys did
Oh, I
either.
totally heard the.
Maybe I'm
little
crazy.
twang.
Maybe it's because I'm not a country fan that it just
It
like,
just-
they're like, why? Why is this happening?
I'm with her with
It was
yeah.
definitely slower, but I didn't hear country.
I heard country.
There was twang.
There, there was twang, yeah. This is. I have kind of. I enjoyed the scene, but I think that we didn't get a strong intro into Magenta, Columbia, or Riff Raff
Oh,
at that
right.
point. Like and I'm sorry to keep comparing it to the film, but it's just like what I'm doing. We had like close-ups and we had like their moments, and I just didn't feel like any of them had a moment. We did get like a Columbia tap scene, like really.
Yeah.
But her tap scene was like, obviously she can tap, and they chose to have her barely tap.
I also am not sure that it was an obviously she can tap because at
When
one
she
point,
did the fan kicks,
right. So I
Is
think she
that-
could do
is
the
that
fan
this?
kicks, but I think then we just were zoomed in on her feet, and I went, oh, maybe those aren't her feet,
Right.
which is fine, but like.
Really
show
sell
us,
it.
Yeah, sell it. Make us believe that it's Annaleigh Ashford because I love her, and Columbia is one of my favorite characters, and I felt like they could have done more with her. And what was Magenta's accent?
this is okay. Why did everyone have to have an accent in this film or event?
Yes,
That was my biggest thing. Is like she had like a British Transylvanian-esque accent.
It was like
Columbia had a New
Russian-y
Jersey, New Yorkie accent.
Yeah.
We have Frank-N-Furter having a million different accents. There was just everyone wanted to do an accent. It was
I think it's a movie where you're allowed to be as campy and as fun as you want to
Yeah.
be, but you're right. They were kind of scattered everywhere, but it's just, it wasn't a strong they just weren't strong presence to me. And the time warp is where you solidify these characters in. But I think you had said that you liked the variation of like the pelvic thrust and kind of.
Yes.
Okay.
So that I loved more than anything because, so we said a lot of things were really cleaned up and really like censored, and then there were things that were really filthy, and I went, wait, why are we doing that filthy?
Well, with dancing, I expected a lot because it's Kenny Ortega.
Yeah, but the pelvic thrust, it's a part of the dance. It's a really important part. And the way it's done usually is just a pelvic thrust. And for some reason here, it was very like, we are having sex and we are thrusting.
Yeah.
Like, it was on the beat.
Yeah.
And
Sorry, yeah, what was that?
I loved it.
Punctuate it more.
Loved every minute.
Cool.
I loved when they were getting down on the floor and doing the pelvic thrust a different way. I thought it was a cool take on it, like just changing it up and making it a little fresher and new.
Yes.
But I just wanted one little of the around the clock.
The
nod
around
to
the clock.
I wanted one.
I liked, though, that it ended, so the way the number usually ends is they fall to the floor and it's from exhaustion, but this time it was very clearly a, like,
panting.
heaving, like we were clearly just masturbating on each other, and now we're on the floor. And I know it's weird, but I think, why are we making this so much dirtier but censoring everything else? I don't mind.
Maybe
just
they,
make
like,
it all dirty.
Maybe they like picked their battles. Like they said, we're really gonna give like the time warp because it's such a memorable thing. We're like, we're gonna make this one like the dirty scene, and everything else we're gonna spank.
Yeah, I'm sure there was someone from the network at every turn saying, you can't do this, you can't do this. So they probably, chose their battles and just got away with exactly as much as they could.
Give us a time warp, like that's what they're like. Yeah.
Exactly.
And then we are introduced to Frank-N-Furter.
Yeah.
In a very different way.
In a very different way.
Yes. Thoughts on the entrance
I want
and the
my
song?
elevator.
I love an elevator.
I wanted the stomping.
Yeah, I love the stomping.
yeah.
I didn't get the outfit in this one, like I said before. Like, this is the one outfit, and I know, Jay, you loved it, but
I love drag queens, so it's just like it was a drag moment for me.
I was just like, she doesn't need any more of an entrance than what the elevator gives you. It's like already like wearing this amazing outfit. Like, we don't need a big head thing and
Yeah.
robe and lift. That's
Right.
not a lift.
Yeah, it was just confusing though, because the first line is, "I'm not much of a man," which is confusing because she's not a man. She's a woman.
Yeah.
That's confusing.
Well, and also because you had heard that they were going to take away
Yes.
the male pronouns.
Right. So in an interview that she did, I think it was on Conan. It may have been one of the Jimmys. I don't remember.
One of those late night
Yeah,
people.
a late night interview with a straight white man. She had said that they decided that Frank-N-Furter would be referred to as she, and that Frank-N-Furter was female, which is confusing because the character is a transvestite and male. It's confusing, and I think it's also confusing in the fact that she is transgender and female. And I think that is confusing to people.
Yeah. Yeah. I as far as casting, I think and I don't know if I'm gonna like word this right, and I'm really sorry, but I think I know what they were trying to do. Like they wanted to embrace this part of the community and like spotlight Laverne Cox because she is so prevalent in like LGBTQ, like every kind of community, and people are. This is a role that you don't have to have a straight male or a gay male playing.
Right.
It's kind of like I don't know theater. I'm really sorry, but like Peter Pan, like we have women playing Peter Pan. It's
Yes.
kind of like a very fluid role. And Glee, I think I was talking about this, had Amber Riley play Frank-N-Furter, which I thought was like a step. It's I don't know, and they think.
Well,
I think
this isn't the first time a woman has played
Yeah,
Frank-N-Furter.
I've seen
Right.
Frank played by women all the time.
What's her face from the Breakfast Club played?
Molly Ringwald.
No, the
Ali
Sheedy?
Ali Sheedy.
Okay, that would make more sense than Molly
Yeah,
Ringwald.
I was like, Molly Ringwald.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm getting my things mixed up. She played Hedwig.
Oh,
Sorry.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm getting my things mixed up.
See, I'm getting all my Broadway things from you.
Yeah.
So, do you think? Did they change the pronouns in those versions where women?
No.
Oh, okay. So
No.
that's kind of where
That's why it's confusing, is that Frank-N-Furter is always played by anyone, but Frank-N-Furter
is a man.
uses male pronouns and is a transvestite from transsexual Transylvania. Whereas what we got was Laverne Cox as a female Frank-N-Furter,
yeah.
who is
A transvestite.
transvestite, which is confusing, I think, because transvestite and transgender are two different things. And that's very important distinction.
And so we're having a hard time separating Laverne Cox from Frank-N-Furter?
I just think it's weird. I think it's a weird choice.
Okay.
I think putting Laverne Cox as Frank-N-Furter is great, but we should have kept the male pronouns.
Okay.
But that said, I think that anyone who may not know the difference between these terms or understand what transgender is because you've been living under a rock or don't have access to the internet, you know, might be confused.
I hear you.
That is a fear that I have.
Yeah, I think.
But if people in the Midwest are telling me that they totally get it, then great, my bad.
Yeah, I think one of the things because I love about theater is that we can cast kind of whoever in whatever role, and so we can have whoever. We can have a male or a woman playing a female or male part. So I think it's right. If we should have just kept it, it's a man. She's playing a man.
And I wonder if I would have even noticed if it wasn't pointed out to me. Like, I don't know if I would have that the pronouns were changed. And maybe I would. It would have clicked maybe midway through.
I don't think I even really noticed while I was watching it that they were
I didn't
referring as
either.
she or her at all.
I didn't notice, and I've always kind of thought of this role as kind of this is probably completely the wrong terminology, but like gender fluid. Like it is just he is who. Well, I just used he.
There
so
you
maybe
go.
I do think of it as a man.
Well, it's just, I think it's because it's such a quotable movie. Maybe it's because I want to speak along with it and like the lyrics.
Yeah.
They changed some lyrics but didn't change all the lyrics.
Right.
It's just, I think, confusing. Moving right along.
But it was still fun.
It was still fun, and she looked beautiful. Costuming was just amazing. The whole thing.
Oh my
And she had great dance moves.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Like her Wyatt splitting her legs. Like damn, girl.
I didn't know she could sing. I did not know, and I was like, well, I guess we'll see. She sings great.
I don't know if I knew for sure, but like in my head, I was like, yeah, of course she sings.
How could she not?
Yeah.
And her teeth looked amazing.
Oh, her teeth. I said, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm like,
he
I love
loved
it.
her teeth.
They were-
He was
those
like-
veneers and that lipstick. It was good.
Speaking of teeth, real quick, I just have to. I just was missing Columbia's.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because the joke is Frank-N-Furter says, was it stay for a bite? Or maybe a bite?
Maybe a bite.
And
Stay
then
for the night or maybe a bite.
And then she licks, which is when she licks and we
Yeah,
go,
she
that's
chomps
not a
and
bite. It's not a bite.
Yeah. The lollipop.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay, so we meet Rocky, our
Yes.
beloved Rocky, in the beverages cooler,
Yes. In the ice cooler.
in shorts.
In like traditional 40s, 50s style boxers. Like if anyone
Also
has
known as
watched The
basketball shorts.
Notebook, that's like the same thing,
It was
but with gold.
so disappointing.
I'm sitting here in a gold Speedo. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
Get it together.
You came prepared.
I did.
Jay can bring it, so can you.
Yeah, and I don't have a costumer.
But it looks good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it was disappointing because we had him in like a singlet leotard looking thing at the end, so I don't know what was going on there. Like
The
why
wrestling?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
wrestling,
wrestling.
which
I liked
so
it.
fetishized, which I'm into. But I was just like, I don't know why we don't have like even a trunk or something, like just something that's a little bit tighter. I didn't understand it.
I could have even done boxer briefs. You know what I mean?
There.
Just
Yeah,
like
like just
tighter.
tighter.
Yeah.
Because the whole point of Rocky is a sex symbol. That's what he's there for.
Toy. He is a toy.
And I missed the
Yeah.
unwrapping scene too, like him unwrapped. I love the spin
Twirl.
that goes into it. I do.
Yeah.
I love the reveal of. I like drag queens and I like reveals. So I missed that
I
part.
think that whole spectacle that we get when we meet Rocky, when the 7 days I can make you a man, we miss the entire purpose of that scene. The gym scene was the tamest.
Yeah.
Like Frank-N-Furter is supposed to touch all over that body. I look
And like when he
forward to that part.
I missed the thrusting on, the horse.
Yeah, because what they did was
The
weird.
seesaw thing.
It was very weird.
Yeah.
I wanted dirtier.
What I did like is how they approached like his kind of incarnation, like it coming through the ceiling that was rainbow
right.
instead of the water, like what we were saying, the twisting of the
Yeah, so
the things. Yeah.
in the original, we see this like crown of nipples come down. And
Crown
then
of
like
nipples.
that's what it is. It's a crown of like baby bottle tops.
And where he's
nipples.
like-
And so Frank-N-Furter's twisting all of them, and what we got instead was these 2 boob buttons that Riff Raff hits on and then twists a nipple. And then we're supposed to have the water fill up and make a rainbow, but instead we have this beautiful rainbow ceiling. You love this, and then the lightning in the water.
I
And
thought it was gorgeous. It looked good.
Yeah.
It looked nice.
Yeah, it was a great set.
And it trimmed time.
yeah.
For me, for the thing with Rocky that kind of was hard for me to deal with was he was a little too robotic.
Yes, I agree with that.
He paid, I think, a little too much attention to like his legs being straight, and it affected it a little bit, where it kind of took me out of it.
I kind of liked the idea that it was Bambi-ish, right? Like Rocky's just been born and is learning to walk, and so he's like, I can't walk. Whereas what we're used to is a Rocky who like wakes up and is like, I'm a person now.
No, but he's still like
He still stumbles.
and he's like stiff, but just he was stiff throughout all of it, the entire film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, there was a good joke there. I actually found some 10 fun facts about Rocky Horror. Not all of them are. Thanks. There are 10 fun facts you didn't know,
Meatloaf.
but most of them are things you did know. The one that I think was really interesting is that the actor who played Rocky in the original was model Peter Hinwood. He did not sing a note or speak his own lines.
Oh, he didn't speak his own lines?
He did not.
He was hired to be a look. I think.
He did not speak English.
Wow.
He like spoken word lip synced.
Yep, which is amazing. And fun fact that they originally gave him no belly button. In the original movie, they like
Oh,
put
yeah,
up
they
the-
did. They did.
Yeah, fun facts.
Because he was like made, so he
Yeah, he doesn't have
an
a
umbilical cord.
Which is, sorry, I was doing
cool, I
research
didn't know
and
that.
those are fun facts that I thought people would want to know.
I learned something.
All right, then we jump to Frank-N-Furter getting into bed with our guests.
And spanking.
Yeah, so the original
raunchy.
scenes,
Lots
the
of
original
spanking.
scenes are like super short, and here they just stretched them out and made them filthier, which I didn't mind. I was a little confused, but then we also made Rocky being afraid of fire and running away shorter. They like chose to make one scene longer and the other one shorter.
Yeah.
I almost missed the reveals of Frank-N-Furter because he comes in like Frank-N-Furter comes into the bedrooms for both Brad and Janet, and it's like the pull off and stuff.
Yeah.
And with Laverne Cox, we didn't have her on camera,
Yeah,
so
we
there
just had
wasn't
shadow.
wasn't a reveal or anything that they could have played with.
Yeah, I agree. But I did like. I said that in the first one, if you think about it, it's a little sexual assaulty.
Oh yeah. Little.
What Frank does to Brad and Janet. Sexual assaulty. And in this one, it was pretty damn sexual
It was
assaulty.
pretty.
Yeah.
Sorry to spit.
That's how we feel.
That's how we. Yeah, sorry.
But like the way Frank-N-Furter talks to Janet is kind of aggressive.
He was. She was. Thank you. Was much more aggressive, and also Janet didn't seem as into it as Brad.
Yeah.
Where in the original they both are kind of eventually are into it.
Yeah.
She seemed more withdrawn and just more into Rocky the entire show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting way to play it. And the spanking, instead of, because like in the original, we're used to seeing them thrown on the bed with their legs in the air, and then it cuts, like it's not even dirty. And here we get this spanking, which I felt like was much more
different
suggestive.
positions.
Yeah.
But you said, Amanda, like you think network, right? Like what can they do?
Probably.
Yeah.
Most likely. But in the movie, I feel like they're curious. Like that's what you learned about Brad and Janet. They're kind of like curious. In this, it just seemed like they were nervous.
Yeah, and the
Well,
movie.
he, like you said, he was a little bit more into it.
Yeah. Well,
in the
but
movie,
she
it's
was like,
just-
leave me alone.
It's just shadows in the movie. Like you're just seeing their silhouettes. And this one, it was like,
You see them, the lights are on.
yeah.
Like way on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bizarre.
Yeah. And then again, flipping back to Super Tame, we get to Touch Me, which is a song that I don't think I usually like it. I never remember if I like it.
It's generally hated.
I
generally
like
hated.
this song because I think it's just fun to play with.
Yeah.
But in this one, it was just like he was terrified.
Yeah,
of her.
Rocky seemed
jumping on the bed.
uninterested.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they went from the ice cooler to the bed.
No, wait, they went from the bed to the ice cooler.
No, they started
And
with
then
the
back
ice
to the
cooler,
ice cooler.
and then to
Oh,
the
yeah.
bed,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then to the ice cooler.
Yeah.
And then my favorite part, because it's so silly, is the creature of the night part where Janet's looking up and the face in front of her keeps changing, and it's all the different characters going creature of the night, and it's so
of the night.
campy and funny.
Yeah.
And I wanted it so bad.
But I understood like why they maybe chose not to do that, because they weren't lying down.
Yes. Yeah, she wasn't on her back.
They were jumping up, and like it would have been funny if they had, since it wasn't live, they were jumping on the bed, and then each person jumping could have been creature of the night, like coming
Yeah.
into frame.
Oh, you're true.
Kenny Ortega. Yeah, I don't know. I think there was ways to do it, and maybe they just I don't know. They just didn't maybe want to get into the sexuality of that scene.
They like skipped the sexuality, and he was like,
he
I don't
didn't
want
even really rub the
yeah,
boobs.
Because they had too much in the other scene when she was spanking them.
Yeah.
That's where all their sexuality was left.
Yeah.
When she first puts his hands on, when she puts his hands on her, she puts it on her thighs, and I was like, that's not where those go.
Go right here.
Yeah, that's where they go.
I did like that they had Magenta and Columbia watching, because
Yes.
that's
Yeah, and the Mickey Mouse hat.
yeah.
It's really
that's straight from the
important.
movie.
Yeah, really important minor details.
Yeah.
All right, we got to move quite along. Dr. Scott joins us on the elevator instead
With
of
the
crashing through.
eyebrows.
Those eyebrows though.
Yes.
I love Ben Vereen. He can do no wrong.
No, hey,
He can do no
he can do
wrong.
no wrong. Whoever put the eyebrows
That's
on
true.
him can do no
That's
wrong.
true.
It was a choice.
I
There were a
love
lot
him.
of choices made.
Yeah.
There were a
I
lot
just
of
love him
choices.
because he's so Broadway. So when he hit the high notes, I was like, yes.
Yeah, you're living
Hit
for
those
it.
high notes.
And you're like, you know he can really do it. You're like, yeah, that's actually him.
I was just disappointed at the great Scott. The we're supposed to see him getting pulled around the building and then crashing through the wall, and instead they just here's an elevator.
There was no crashing of walls.
No
Eddie
crashing.
didn't crash through the wall.
Yeah. Anyway, so then we have our Brad, Janet, Dr. Scott. I love that.
Rocky talked during this one, which
He's
he
like-
didn't.
He's like,
Aw. And he like rolled his eyes. It's like he's not interested in his purpose. Rocky, come on. We have our dinner, which had the best joke of the night.
Meatloaf?
When Columbia says, I hope it's not meatloaf
meatloaf.
again. The best joke of the night.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was cute.
Yeah.
beautiful.
It's a great homage. We have the song about Eddie. For some reason, it like really bugs me that they weren't eating Eddie. For
Yeah.
those
Some
who
of
don't
them
know.
were.
Well, I know because we
But I
see
still no. That's the thing. I think it is still supposed to be him.
that they're eating him, but we can't see it.
But we just when they reveal him, they just
They
he's
didn't want
not
to gut.
cut up.
Yeah, they didn't want to gut Adam Lambert.
Like I still think that they were trying to convey that they were eating him, but
I feel like it was I don't know, maybe. But I love the giant Eddie poster in Columbia's room.
I
and
want that.
I said to him, and she whispers in his ear.
I also just love Adam Lambert's face with the reveal.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was
His dirt face.
Her face. Yeah.
All right. Wise Up Janet Weiss is when we see Frank-N-Furter beating. Right, like first Frank-N-Furter sexually assaults her, and then abuses her.
Yeah.
Drags her by her hair.
Yeah.
It felt very violent.
Yeah.
Which is surprising because we chose not to murder Eddie. Well, not to show that Eddie is the other half of the brain, but also not to show that we've eaten Eddie. Yet we are going to beat this half-naked woman.
Yeah, because in the movie he just kind of like is messing with
Yeah.
her, but not pulling her
Isn't
by
there,
her hair.
There is one slap in the movie, isn't there? Do I remember this? Or am
Yeah,
I
I think
wrong?
there's a slap.
yeah,
Maybe
but
I'm
it's
wrong.
not like it was in this.
No,
Not
this
like
was not
this.
pulling by the hair. It was a little bit aggressive.
You getting cold?
No, I'm just nervous about the hair pulling.
All right. The floor show.
Loved it.
Oh my God, the most beloved moment. Everyone's in their lingerie and fishnets. Yet
Except
Columbia's
for Columbia.
in pants.
Yeah.
Rocky's in those sexy wrestling clothes.
Yes.
And this is where Brad just takes the shot.
I mean,
This was it.
I do want to shout him out. Ryan McCartan.
He was amazing.
He was great. He like took this role. Like I think that you had said it, Brianna. Like nobody really thinks about him.
No,
At
no.
this part of the movie, nobody's thinking about him. And I was watching him.
The only
in
reason
the
you
pool.
watch the movie is the leg shake.
And he brought his leg up. He was like, tonguing in the pool. Like,
Oh
there
my
was
God.
stuff
He
happening.
was
Yes.
having so much fun with
I think, and that's what I want to say about this cast too. Is I think that everybody had fun with what they were doing, and at this point in the film, I was invested. Like the Flora show, I liked. That's one of my favorite numbers in the whole movie. I liked the costuming was great. They were all in gold, and then we had Riff Raff in magenta and silver. So I liked the metallic opposition. I thought it was a fun finale.
I also love the guitar changing into the laser.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
that was cool.
guitar becoming the gun was so great.
Yeah.
Brad's performance was the best performance of the night. Was just that scene.
He
Breakout.
stole
We all
that
were
scene.
Breakout.
Gagging.
And how old did you say he was? You looked at
23.
He
Yeah.
is
23.
on Liv and Maddie from Disney Channel.
I know. I was about to say that.
He's on like Austin and Alley. Yeah, he's
Oh
like
my
a.
goodness.
I felt dirty because I'm like 31. I'm like, I can't.
I feel
Go really far.
I could, but I don't.
Yeah,
I feel
My
weird.
friends are 10 years apart and they're together. You're fine.
Okay. All right.
We have our pool scene. We have the leg reveal of Dr. Scott, and it was wonderful.
good.
It was a payoff.
I do
Yes.
want to just talk about the pool scene for one quick sec,
Yeah.
because I love the pool scene because they're all in the pool and like makeup's running and
Yeah.
they're like looking disheveled. But like Frank-N-Furter was in a little cap and changed costume magically by jumping in the pool.
So this is why I think they couldn't have done live.
because of what they wanted to do.
Because what they wanted to do was these 3 costume changes, because they go from the pool back up to the stage.
Yeah, and then she's Beyonce.
Yeah, and then she becomes, I wrote Beyonce.
Actually.
And I think that was why that and the set and were why it couldn't have been done live. I understand Tim Curry could have very easily been pre-recorded and that would have still been great. But I think that the costume changes alone is why
But
they
what
didn't
if they
do
did it like they did Grease, where they had breaks, where they did costume change and makeup changes with them, but it was still shot in front of a live audience and shot live? Would that have worked?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would have loved to have seen what
We'll
they could have done.
never know.
We'll never know.
All right, so we have our amazing entrance from Riff Raff and Magenta, who I think at this point kind of explain the like premise of the movie.
Yeah.
They go, in case you haven't noticed, we are aliens from another planet, and Frank-N-Furter was our leader, but he has gone off the deep end, so we are taking back control. We're going to kill him and leave this planet. Now you caught up? Okay.
Yeah.
Like, that's, I think, my favorite part, because you go, oh,
Here's the exposition that we didn't get.
that's what the hell
All this crazy
crap
stuff is happening.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then we have the beautiful I'm Going Home, which was so lovely.
Oh, we finally get our.
Oh, the elbow sex.
Yeah.
But this one, instead of just doing classic elbow sex, they like added some elbow sexing, and I loved it.
And then transport it.
Yeah.
And then beamed themselves.
Yeah, they were like, we're going to take the castle with us, but instead they broke it.
Yeah.
They took it later.
Yeah, because first they broke
They
it.
wanted to let
It was on my
Janet
way.
and Brad and Dr.
Yeah.
Scott do a little singing, and then they're like,
Yeah.
okay, we'll let you do that. All right, now we'll take it.
And that was Rocky Horror Picture Show. Let's do the time warp again.
And then they ended it again with Tim Curry.
With Tim Curry.
Yeah.
Are there any final thoughts that you would like to share?
I mean, coming into it, I kind of had high expectations, and then I kind of heard some pre-Rumble reviews of that it wasn't. You told me on Sunday it wasn't live, and I was like, oh no! Like I thought that's what I was walking into, and then to see what they did, I think that there were some successes and there were some missed opportunities. Just knowing the format of the original piece. Overall, I found it enjoyable. There was some like eye roll moments where I was like, oh, I really wish that I had gotten this, like the same the feels that I get from the original movie. Overall, I think that I think everybody had fun, and I think that's what's important with something like this, where it's campy, and I mean, we're having fun talking about it, so
Yeah.
I think it shows.
Yeah, I agree. I was kind of bummed that it wasn't live, but I do think that the cast was absolutely amazing. Everyone made really, even if the choices weren't exactly what we wanted, everyone made really strong choices. Everyone clearly had as much fun as they possibly could with it, and I do like that at the end of the day, people who maybe wouldn't know what Rocky Horror is will now be able to know, since it's going to be nationally broadcasted.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
huge.
important.
I think that with a show like this that's so beloved and has such a huge following, you're never going to make everybody happy. Like you guys, I also just would have loved for them to do it live, because we are doing all these great live musicals, and that's part of me as a theater person just wants everything to be live and not pre-recorded and not pre-sung. But I think that they still pulled it off in a way that made it enjoyable to watch. Like you said, you could tell everybody's having a lot of fun, which is
Yeah.
the most important thing. And the singing was amazing. So I can't be mad at it.
I don't think you'll ever hear an actor be like, ugh, I'm in Rocky Horror, it sucks. It's not fun. It's like the worst show I've ever been in. Every actor's always like, I'm in Rocky Horror.
Yeah,
it's
you
so
can't
fun.
not have fun doing it.
Exactly.
I disagree with all of you and did not care that it wasn't live. Like, the live aspect
really?
does not affect me
Oh,
in
that's
the
what I wanted.
least. No, I think that it was definitely strong choices, a lot of choices that I would have never thought of nor wanted to, but some of them really worked and paid off, some of them not so much. I will say that our new favorite person is this child,
Ryan McCartan.
the child.
The child, don't say that. He's my future
She
boyfriend.
talks about everybody under the age of 40 as a child, to be
Correct. He's a child. And his performance was really amazing in the floor show. Also, our Rocky was played by
Staz Nair.
Yeah, Staz. I think it's Nair, but
Nair.
I'm not
Oh,
sure.
okay, I'm sorry.
I'm guessing because if you switch the N to a Y, it's my brother's name.
Okay.
Although at first, when we first were looking up the cast, I went, no, not at all. But when we see him, it was wonderful. I just wish his shorts were tighter.
Yes.
Overall, there were some filthier moments. There were some sadly less filthy moments. But I'd be ready to do the time warp again.
Yeah.
I also want to just say that I now, after seeing Laverne Cox in that ending, want her to do a single ladies
Oh, please.
video, and I want to see it.
No, I want Laverne Cox to play Beyonce in the biopic.
That
Or
too.
the Broadway musical.
Yeah.
Beyonce the musical. Which will happen one
Absolutely.
day, I think, for sure.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you to
you.
my lovely panel.
It was so fun. I
I'm
know.
so
It's really-
I love that you
weird.
all cosplayed. Why don't you tell them where people can keep up with you? Let's start with our
Thanks,
Janet.
Dad. Oh, sorry. I'm Janet. No, I'm Amanda Richards. You can find me at AmandaAfter31 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Guys, I'm on, it's Jay Ellis, and I'm on Instagram at don't_be_jealous, and then jump to the left, go to Twitter, and it's still _jealous.
Nice.
And I'm Phipps14 on Twitter and Instagram, and thank you, Alexis, for playing this.
Yeah. I'm Yael Tygiel. You can find me everywhere at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIL. Also, I have a podcast. It is called Intimate Interrogations. It's free on iTunes and Stitcher. Sometimes it is filthy. Sometimes it is not. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Bye. See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Well, you got